When creating something like this, it's really hard to know, where to start. How do you contain so much love, so much passion, so much information in, the simplest way, in just 10 minutes, What is Magic the Gathering? There are a lot of answers to that question. So where to start, or actually when to start? I guess you could say it started in the early 90s when this guy Richard Garfield tries to come up with a new type of game to play in between rounds of D&D, and that's so interesting to me because it was never meant to be this big, Usually it was a very unique idea. Usually you had these decks of cards that has been around for hundreds of years, and there are countless different games with them, but this time this new game they created was so much more complex and had so much more depth.
Ruben draws.
Don't see it.
Is that ball lightning? Oh my!
It's game. 7-6. Wham.
Ben Rubin has defeated John Finkel.
John Finkel goes down 3 games to 1, so Ben Rubin advances to the finals. Wow.
And suddenly you could trade and collect and build different types of decks with all these cards, and that made the game so deep, and it made it so vast. There could be something there for anyone.
Each of you has 7 cards.
Did you and your opponent draw your 7 cards? We can't proceed until that's done.
Now, player A, since you've won the toss, draw a card from your deck and place it in your hand.
A lot of people have called Magic a combination between chess and poker, and I mean, they have a point, right? It is kind of like a combination of chess and poker in the most simplest terms, but the thing most people don't realize is it's so much more. This game is so deep, and you have no idea how actually deep it is once you're, unless you're in the whole ecosystem, the game. In Magic the Gathering, you are an elite spellcaster, a planeswalker. You have a deck at your disposal, a deck which you use to battle other players and their decks using magical spells and summoned creatures. This goes on until one player's life total goes down to 0, and if you are the one with the life total above 0, you win. Just like many other card games, you have thousands of different cards to choose from to build your deck. 25 years worth of cards to be exact. This might seem a little bit intimidating. How do I acquire all these cards, and how do I know which one of the thousands of cards available to use in my deck that is probably only 60 cards? In Magic, you have a whole bunch of different products to help you grow your collection and help build your decks. Some examples include booster packs. There are booster packs for every new big set release, so you have much to choose from. You also have bundles, intro packs, dual decks, commander decks, and tons more, like this gift pack for example. But that one is garbage, throw it away. There's something for every player's needs and goals with the game. When I started playing Magic back in, 2005 I think what really got me hooked back then was not the actual game primarily, but actually the lore. The stories, the characters and all of that. And just a few years after release of this game, you had tons of books being produced. Some very beloved, some better than others, but a lot of stories nonetheless. And today you still have these stories going on. You have the online books and the novels and things. You can for free actually read all about the Magic story online today, which it's really neat, I think. And we have a lot of actually famous authors right now writing Magic stories. So I really like that. And Magic is not just like a game; it's a story, and one of the actual longest running stories ever, I think. So now, if we say Magic is a card game and Magic is also lore and stories, there is a third thing that Magic most definitely is as well, and that's community. Probably my favorite part right now about everything. The thing that makes Magic so different from other games is that you can't play Magic alone. You need someone to actually play with. It's a 2-player game. And so Magic does a great job of building friendships and communities and connecting people all over the world, and that's neat. One place where you can play Magic with tons of other people is at your local game store. Game stores usually host popular events such as Friday Night Magic, FNM, and other types of events for both casual and experienced players. To find a place that hosts Magic events, you can have a look in the description of this video. But let's say you feel intimidated by this, or maybe you just don't have a game store close by. Is it time to just pack your bags up and jump off the Magic train? No, of course not. Just like with most other TCGs, such as Hearthstone, Gwent or Pokemon, there is a sprawling online game where you can get your game on. Here, there are two real alternatives, the first one being Magic Online. This platform is a bit outdated, but it's the most popular way to play online by far, and it gets the job done. And we also have the new Magic Arena. This game is in its beta stage right now, but should provide a simpler, cleaner and better game for most players, so there's a lot to look forward to. If you are interested in these platforms, there are links in the description to this as well. So when I started making Magic videos back in 2014, there was a community there for sure, but it was not even close to what it's like today. It has grown like so much, and I think there's a reason for that, you know. I think that while it's very hard to get your videos out there, especially now, and it's a very niche type of thing to make videos about, I think the community is usually really great, and they're very accepting, and there are so many different things that you can actually make videos about. And we have passionate creators from all over the world who finds different creative ways to create fantastic content for everyone, and I truly think there's something for everyone here, no matter what type of Magic player you are. You know, we have everything from college professors with weird obsessions with product quality to investors, crafters, long-time players as well as new ones, big name YouTubers, creators from Brazil, England, Canada, Sweden, Netherlands, Australia and many more. And I think it's a great place to feel included and part of something bigger. And that's one thing I love about the game. So I got this question, right? Why is Magic the Gathering the best game ever? And I guess it really made me think, because it's not just one thing that makes Magic the best thing ever, it's many things combined. You know, it's depth and it's community, it's story, art and so on. There's so many things. So what I did was I asked around a bit to see what other people had to say about this, you know. Why is Magic the Gathering the best game ever?
Hello, YoreMTG. I'm Milo from Milo the Gathering, and thanks for asking me these questions. So first up, Magic. What is my favorite part about Magic? You know, it's got to be the Gathering. I'm sure that's a popular answer, but it's true. There is no Magic without the Gathering, and the people that I've met playing this game have been phenomenal. Cube is actually the best format of Magic the Gathering. Not too sure you're aware of it, but the gameplay is fantastic. It's everything that the Cube owner wants out of Magic is there in this limited Masters set. I used to joke that Cube is like a methadone clinic for retired Magic players. So like all the Magic players that I used to know who got out of the game, it's much easier to bring them back in if you're like, hey, just come out for a Cube one day a year. And then they'll come out and they'll see a lot of cards that they remember. They remember Sol Ring and Recurring Nightmare, and then they get to see some new cards. Thanks, Yore!
What do I love about Magic though? Well, that's a great question and completely out of random, but I'll answer it anyway. The thing I love most about Magic, the reason I love Magic, honestly, is this. Checking in from GP City, the thing I really love is the gathering of Magic the Gathering. Now, that might sound weird, I'm a guy who spends most of my time, probably 99% of my Magic playing time on the computer by myself. But as a streamer, I have access to chat, which I like to talk to. I usually also have my opponents I can chat with. Well, it's not always 100%, it's usually just a great time. And then you come to these events where you've got hundreds to thousands of people, not hundreds of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who love what you love, who enjoy doing what you do, who share the same passion you share. Just this stupid game of cardboard and amazing story, 25 years in the making, that can be approached on so many different levels. It's just the best game in the world.
Hey, what's up, YoreMTG? Thanks for having me on your channel. What do I love most about playing Magic the Gathering? Well, I think it's because that every single game is different. Doesn't matter if you're playing the same deck with the same friend and they have the same deck, every single game is to be different. Sometimes you draw differently, you draw well, they draw bad, but I think that's also what makes it exciting. A little bit of that randomness. I also love the fact that it's a great problem-solving game. You know, sometimes when you don't think you're gonna win, like you can still win, and that's very exciting. And of course, I always think about Magic the Gathering as a game from my youth. So that always brings me back to those Saturday mornings. You're sitting on the floor on your carpet playing, and then you're like cracking boosters or like drafting with a friend or like getting blown out by some bomb rare they have, or like being surprised as a card that you've never seen but they know really well and they're trying to game you with it, stuff like that. So I guess it's always like this discovery, this enchanting magic, I guess it is, that always makes me love the game. So anyways, thanks for having me on your channel. Take care, man. Bye.
Man, Magic sucks. I'd much rather want to play Shadowverse. What?
Why is Magic the Gathering the most awesome game? It's awesome because it's never the same game. When you play, you go up against different people. You don't know what cards they have in their deck. It's always changing. You would have to think constantly. The strategy is what I love most about Magic the Gathering.
I don't know, Magic just means a lot to me, you know? It's been with me for most of my life, and it has given me so much joy all throughout the years. You know, it's the people I've met, the games I've played, the stories I've read, and so on. It's just all amounts to something bigger. You know, this entity. And I know this sounds it sounds really corny, but it's Magic is more of a lifestyle. You know? It's part of something bigger. Now I think the Magic community will be even better with you in it. Despite hardships, we still stand strong together. Now we just have to think about what we can do to become even better. Magic is a game for everyone, and that's why Magic the Gathering is the best game ever. If you liked this video and you want to learn more about Magic the Gathering, you can leave a like and subscribe to YoreMTG. Also, a huge shout out to all the fantastic people who was featured in this video. Links to all channels down below in the description. And as always, see you guys next time. Bye bye.